Martin at Rancho de Sueños, home of my beautiful stallion, Show Me the Buckles. Many of you have wondered what I use on Buckles' mane to make it so crazy long. Well, today I'm going to start showing you how I handle his mane, how I brush it out, what product I use, and all my other little secrets. So pay attention. So what we do when we first start out is we use this beautiful product called Santa Fe. It's the only product I use on my horses, and as you can see, it's done wonders for Buckles. What I do first is I purposely let his mane get really, really bad, just so you can see how easy this product works. And I've tried all the others, and they do not work the same, I know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start spraying this while it's still braided. And you wanna sort of rub it in. We're gonna do this to his mane as well. And you gotta get underneath. In his case, he has a very, very thick mane, a lot of hair. So I wanna get it, and I just want it to sort of penetrate all those little tiny knots, all the way down. So we're gonna start with the forelock. Take the rubber band out. And one of the mistakes a lot of people make, and I know to many of you this is gonna be very fundamental, but they do, is that everybody's in a hurry. First thing I can tell you is don't even start to do your horse's mane like this unless you can really give it the time that it takes to be patient and be slow, because there's going to be a lot of slow brushing going on here. As you see, I've taken out a good portion of the braid. It's wanting to stick together. A lot of people will brush. Everybody knows you're supposed to start from the bottom up. But in this case, you're starting from the bottom, and I'm starting very, very easily. Not putting any weight of my hand on the knots, but simply using the weight of the brush and let it just glide through. You can see how easy that glides through, front and the back. That's how you start taking the knots out of the braids. We've got his forelock out, and we're gonna leave it that way because, I just like to see it that way every now and then. The main part is pretty nasty. It's a pretty big mess. A little more Santa Fe, and let that I work it in a little bit, gently. Now I'm gonna very lightly pull the hair apart. When it really wants to start to knot badly like this, you have to go back, be patient, pull it apart very, very gently. And the finer the hair is, the less hair you're working with, the easier it's going to part. The reason this hair is coming apart so easily is because I use Santa Fe on it all the time. And it seems to coat it almost with a silicone type of coating. See how when you brush your hair, your brush wants to stop there? Most people's inclination is to continue, brush harder. No, 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 very bad mistake. So what you want to do is you want to take see, even that wants to stop. I'm going to a smaller amount of hair, and I'm going to start again at the bottom and work your way up. Now you're saying to yourself, you have to be kidding me, you're going to be there all day long. Well, you'd be surprised, because it actually goes faster, and you don't have any hair loss. We are going to just use a little bit at a time, taking each smaller portion, letting it come apart gently. I have the old part I did here. I wrap it around my other finger, and then I work with the new portion of hair. Just from the bottom, very slightly, moving the way up. Very little hair loss. We have a little knot here. I gently brush it. And look at how fast it goes. There's no knots. Now look, we've got this much hair, absolutely knot free. And you continue to do that with a little bit more every time. I'm going to put put the other hair that we've done here. Again, start really gently brushing it. A little bit of resistance there, so I'm going to take less hair. Less hair until there's no resistance. It's just fan it apart. No resistance. Now we've got this much hair that we're working with. And you continue that till this whole main part is brushed out, and then you move up to the braid. Okay. Another way to do this is when you're put to the point where it's not quite so knotted, you hold it up, and I just let a little bit of hair drop at a time, and just gently, you can see it's just tiny, almost like a cobweb of hair that you're coming in. You're taking it down real gently brushing it until now his whole bottom is ready to go. And it's very silky, very easy to work with. Honestly, this whole thing maybe took me 4 minutes. Go. Okay, now we're ready to get into the really, really tough part. This is where the braid begins. And you could see this is a pretty big mess right here. Purposely, again, I don't normally let my handsome horse get this out of control, but I did it for the video because this is pretty bad. Okay, I'm taking it gently, only taking a small amount. Focus on the knot, and I absolutely just go right in here and just pull it apart. Very gently, I don't force it. If you split it apart, a little bit of hair is real, it doesn't knot. The thinner it is, the harder it is to knot up, the easier it is to get the knots out. Again, here's a tough spot. You fan it out, and you have very little hair loss here. Now we've got that whole knot gone already. We're going to go up a little bit more. Just gently get to that. Every now and then you get a tough knot. You want to come back in with some more Santa Fe. And be generous with this. It doesn't hurt. It's not going to get in there. It doesn't build up. It's really a beautiful product. Now here you can see I'm trying to unbraid, and they don't want to unbraid. I gently am tugging and letting it unbraid itself. So here we go, see? All I'm going to do right now is let's get the braids out. We've got the main knot out, so now we can start actually undoing the braid. Okay, so this is pretty easy. You can see how this is going to go. So now we've got all his braids out, and once everything's out and opened up, you want to hit it again with more Santa Fe. In Buckle's case, he's got so much hair that I have to go underneath as well and put Santa Fe because there are layers and layers and layers of hair for this guy. When you put it in, every time you want to just kind of gently massage it into the hair. And sometimes I'll go away and maybe brush him or do something else to him just to give it a few minutes to penetrate, and then the brush maybe dry slightly a bit and the brush goes through real easily. My sweetheart. Let's settle him. Well, we're getting close. Look how beautiful that mane is. Okay, buddy. So we're going to do a little bit more. Just to give you an idea, when you get to this point, I've let that Santa Fe sit for a bit. Look at how easy that goes through. Isn't that incredible? Notice when I hit a knot, I stopped and I just went back and took less hair. That's a big, big deal. That's a big part of it. It's not all about just the product. A lot of technique has to go with it. And by the way, I've never found this technique to work with any other product but Santa Fe. I thought you should see the difference in reality from the different techniques of brushing. If I were to go through Buckle's mane, there's nothing on here, and I were to just yank, oh God, it's killing me to do this. But if I were to just yank right through and not take my time, look at all that hair in just a very quick brush, how much we lost. Now let me show you how much, if you do it with the proper patient technique, how much, that's a lot of hair I'm about to brush. If I go through And just do it the very easy way where you just let it fan out using only the weight of the brush. We just did all that hair. Look how much hair we've lost. Almost none. Very, very little compared to what we just did. Now right here is a really nasty part of his mane. He has very thick hair. And it's really dense. So I'm having to put more Santa Fe and layers of hair. Layers of crazy hair. So I'm putting it in because the closer you get up to the actual mane where the hair grows from, you're going to have it very dense. I'm massaging it in just so I can break up some of these knots. Again, normally I only leave this braid in for about a week and redo it. That way you have very little hair coming out. I mean, this has been left in here for probably a month because I wanted it to be pretty bad, and it is pretty bad. So I just did that. Let's see what happens. I haven't let it sit, but if I go in there and I'm doing a little at a time, okay, good boy. There, look at that. It drops right through. I can show you here. You can't get through without reaching knots. But this shows you how much it helps, even with the thickest of hair, how you can get through very easily by feathering the hair. Now, just for fun, why don't we measure Buckle's mane? So we're going to put it right up to where it starts to grow, come all the way down, and it comes to, let us see, 46 inches. That's pretty cool. Let's check his forelock. That's a good boy, Buckles. Okay. Here's his forelock up at the top, and we are down to almost 24 inches. What horse wouldn't love to have a 2-foot forelock? Or 2-foot mane, for that fact. And now that all that hard work is done, we are going to do the other side of his mane. Because it's so thick, you have to do both sides. So, here we go again.